Back now with that extraordinary look on the front lines. Our Richard Engel with doctors and nurses inside an ICU fighting to save lives.
It's the first time we've been given access inside an ER in the UK. University Hospital in Coventry, north of London, one of the hardest hit areas. And COVID-19 is changing how they operate. The admitting nurse has to make an on-the-spot call. Is the patient COVID positive or not?
These people are going to come in now, 7, and you're just going to say, okay, you're going for more COVID testing, yes, and you're not.
Basically, yes.
It's a tough call.
They have tests here, but results take 10 hours at a minimum.
I've put that patient in an area and they might have caught COVID because they didn't have it previously.
Administrators divided this hospital into zones. One for COVID positive or suspected positive cases, the other for likely COVID negative. And we see how much PPE the hospital burns through. Each move into a COVID area requires putting on protective gear and then disposing of it there in the room. And then doing it all over again when they go back into COVID areas.
This sign is indicating that behind this plastic barrier, there are confirmed COVID cases. So when you enter and go into the next ward, we're entering into a COVID area. So let's move forward. It means we have to wear a mask from here going forward.
Following hospital guidelines, we met Dr. Tom Billiard in a clean zone as he suited up to enter the critical care unit. We asked him to take a camera inside. Nationwide, half of COVID patients who need this level of care don't survive.
We've never had quite so many patients quite as sick as they are. We've seen a lot of death.
But even with all the checks and all the divisions, this virus can still spread. Nicola Wesson is a surgical nurse. She started to have a fever and cough a few days ago. Today she came in for a test. She'll get the results in 48 hours.
You look pretty nervous.
I'm scared, just in case, because I've got a young family at home.
Nicola's husband is an electrician, laid off, now taking care of their 2 kids as she isolates in a room at home. British officials say the UK passed the peak of its outbreak days ago, but it's still stretching the capacity of even the best hospitals, which are now hospitals within hospitals. Richard Engel, NBC News, Coventry.
Morning, everyone. I am here in beautiful New Haven, Connecticut. Hey, you guys don't ever hardly see me without my glasses on. I'm here at our walkthrough here in New Haven. Like I said before, this is one of my babies, right? This is one of those super important sites for me because we get to help give back to the communities, right? Probably the most essential thing is giving back to the communities, not taking advantage of them. You know, one of the most important things is delivering value in those who need to have care given to them, who don't have the money and really need true value care. And so we're here for that, right? We're here for that. Murphy Medical Associates, we protect our own. New Haven, you're our own. We're here to protect you, okay? So we're here today doing our our walkthrough testing starting at 8 a.m. We're starting at 8 a.m. Good morning, good morning. So we are here in the community. We're going to be testing, walkthrough testing. We need you to get an appointment. If you don't have an appointment, you can come and schedule an appointment at our site and we'll take care of you. And we will test you today to test, treat, isolate, and trace. I want to talk for a couple of minutes about the Pepsid AC evaluation, the Pepsid AC studies that came out of Asia. So what we know about Asian populations is that they're at a higher risk of acid reflux, that are a higher risk of gastric cancers. We saw that in Han Chinese populations when we did genome-wide association studies. Studies of genetic predisposition we found in Han Chinese did not replicate in Europeans. They did not replicate in Europeans. Sorry about that. Allergies. So, as I said here, are amongst the trees. So, do I think they'll replicate in the European populations? Do I think Pepcid AC will work? I don't know. Is Pepcid AC a bigger risk than hydroxychloroquine for fatal heart arrhythmias? Not really. Risk lower, benefit unknown. So it's a risk-benefit balance that we have to calculate in public health, that we have to calculate out in regular medicine, and we have to figure these things out. So we have to work on that together. Should I tell everyone to go buy Pepcid AC? No, but there's a study at Northwell. This guy's over in Long Island. They're doing great. They're doing a great job there. We're actually entering Northwell territory tomorrow at our drive-thru at Bedford Hills at the train station. We are deep in Northwell territory in Westchester County. So we're moving into another state now, where our rapid response teams are going to set up drive-thrus. We're going to take care of those people in our community. Westchester is our community. Westchester got hit really hard. We are there for them. They got hit hard before Fairfield County did. We had a bunch of people come over the border and get tested. Now we're going over the border and we're going to test you. To test, to treat, to isolate, and trace. That's our mission. That's our call to arms. We protect our own. Westchester County, you are now our own. We are there for you. Okay? So New Haven County today, then Fairfield County, and then Westchester County. We're here for you guys. So I want to caution you about the Pepcid AC stuff. Don't go rushing out and buying a bunch of Pepcid AC. We don't even know whether it works. If you have stomach upset or gastric esophageal reflux, go ahead, get some Pepcid AC. By all means, treat your GERD. I know a lot of people that are having agita, right, which is acid reflux, right? So a lot of people have an agita. So use the Pepcid AC. Who knows? We don't know. And that's the thing to understand. In this time, we have to stay loose and flexible. We have to watch information, but we have to not have fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We have to take things slow. We have to trust our healthcare system that they're going to do the best that they can. And as healthcare workers, we need to work with each other. We don't need to attack each other. The other day, one of my docs was attacked by another doctor out in the community. All right? That crap has got to end. We're all in this together. We are all in this together. The end of tribalism. Here's the tribe. It's called healthcare. Stop attacking each other. Take care of each other. We're all in this together, okay? I know it's scary. I know a lot of you are getting your salaries cut. I know a lot of you are getting furloughed, but don't you dare attack people on the front lines, okay? Work together. Work together. Do your best and be good to each other. We're all in this together. This is Dr. Murphy signing off. I'll be running the roads today. I've got a bunch of meetings trying to figure out how we get our rapid response teams ready, how we figure out that we handle the May 20th date that Governor Lamont set in terms of municipalities, in terms of keeping restaurants and businesses safe. I'm reviewing aerosolized data. I'm reviewing transmission data in restaurants and businesses today. We're going to come up with some good plans to get America working again. But you have to have patience because we're going to do it right the first time. That's what my granddad said. Do it right the first time and you never have to do it again. Okay? Dr. Murphy, coronatestct.com. It's coronatestct.com. Our family at Murphy Medical Associates, thanks you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Okay? Take care. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? I'm out of the battlefield. No rain, no sleet, no snow for me right now, because I try and carve out a little bit of time and think strategically about what's going on with this virus. I also think strategically about what happened in the state. And so I take a few minutes and just reflect over everything that's happened over the whirlwind the last couple of months. You know, it was the first weekend, second weekend in March like 8th, 9th or whatever, when this thing really formulated for me. I saw what was happening in New York, and I was worried that we were going to get hit with this tidal wave of cases from New York into Fairfield County. Little did I know that I would be totally flipped upside down by having a fifth column, so to speak, behind my flank in Westport. So as we set up our drive-thrus, I knew that we had to hold the line, so to speak, from Westchester County. And so we set up our drive-thrus in Greenwich, which is right next door to Westchester County, and Stamford, which is on the Merritt, right, which you call the Hutch in New York, as a main artery. Our office there is feeding right off of that main artery. And so I knew that I had to set up drive-thrus there. Now, the drive-thru at Stratford was just a natural progression of that. I figured if we're doing it at 2 of our locations, we might as well do it at all 3 of our locations. But I knew a wave was coming from New York. And so we literally were in the rain. We had property managers shouting at us. I had a hair salon tell me that I was doing illegal things by running these drive-thrus. I knew they were all wrong. I knew they were on the wrong side of history. And I want to thank Ian Hobbs at Hobbs over in Stamford. They gave me a lot of crap, and they made me have to start my drive-thru at 5 in the morning so I'd be done before the rest of the traffic came in. But they stuck enough by me. They didn't issue a cease and desist letter. What then followed, thanks, Linda. What then followed after that press, the initial press I had, was a bunch of towns reaching out to me saying, help, we really need help. One of those towns was Mark Cooper in Westport. And Mark said, hey, I've got a little problem here. You see, there was a party. Well, guess what? I already knew about the party because the Westport people were testing at our Stamford drive-thru. We had dozens of Westport people come through the Stamford drive-thru. And you know what we did with all of those people? We quarantined them. We actually used swabbing in the nose as a hook to quarantine people. Imagine that. You swab, you quarantine, you wait. Now you wait for results and you quarantine. That means you don't go to work. I issue you letters so you can send them to work. So that way you can work from home and you don't infect a whole bunch of other people. I knew that's what the drive-thrus would do. So I'm really, really happy because I got to tell you, I have a sinking suspicion that most of our cases in Connecticut may have emanated from that Westport party, that retirement party. Now, there were 2 parties in Westport at that time, and there were a ton of people. It was a huge hot spot. So when Mark Cooper came and said, hey, can you help me a little bit? I answered the call. Of course I answered the call. That's a hot spot. So we started testing in Westport, but we also had Westport people at our other drive-thrus, at our Greenwich drive-thru, at our Stamford drive-thru. And as I was forced to break down the Greenwich drive-thru, I relocated a lot of those people to our drive-thru on Bedford Street. And so we had a podiatrist, Dr. Beer, who helped me out a lot. And he rented space to me on Bedford Street, which was great up until, we had traffic down 4 blocks and had to shut down early because, again, we had to operate really early in the morning. So I feel bad for all the crap that we got. Each of these property managers may have cost lives, and they're going to have to look at themselves in the mirror. But if they would have let me run the drive-thrus and not go crazy all over the place, we probably could have reduced and even flattened the curve quicker. But at that Westport hotspot, I got to tell you, when Mark got a hold of me, we set it up right away and we started testing, and we found a ton of Westport cases, and we managed to quarantine all of them. We kept them out of work. We kept them from traveling all over the place, and that was a big deal. The Department of Public Health did a little bit of testing on their own first, and we just picked it up the rest of the way. And so I want to thank the MRC of Westport. They really helped me out here. And then I want to thank the cities: Stamford, Stratford, New Haven, New Canaan, Darien, Westport. Now we're on the next phase, right? So now we're screening the municipal workers. But I feel like we really did a great thing by testing that Westport town. I think that that's a nidus, and I've got a sinking suspicion that a lot of the cases came from that Westport party. And so our job, our goal, is to help departments of health do contact tracing. I'm actively engaging Dr. David Israel and his team up in Florida, New York, to create a contact tracing arm, because I think that's so important. We're deploying RRT teams. These are rapid response teams to go to hot zones, to lock down the hot zones and do just what we did in Westport. Test, treat, isolate, and trace. All right? That's how we're going to get to the next phase here. Testing, treating, isolating, and tracing. We were the first drive-thrus on the East Coast, and we were working to lock down Fairfield County before the governor locked it down. And we were doing that with quarantines. You got a swab in your nose, you get quarantined, right? David Goldman got swabbed, quarantined first week. And guess what? He was positive. We quarantined that guy right away. They refused to test him in New York Presbyterian. He drove all the way up to Stanford to get tested. Testing was restricted. We didn't want to restrict it. We knew that we had to test everyone that had an influenza-like illness, and we had to get their butts home. Not to Trader Joe's, not to Fairway Markets, not out to work, home. We knew quarantine was the best way to flatten this curve. And so we'll see what the story says in the future. That, up at Yale, they're doing genomic analysis of all of these viruses. I really have a sinking suspicion that Westport party was our fifth column, right? They busted us from the flanks on the backside, but we were able to cohort them. We were able to test, treat, isolate, and trace. And that picture of me with the victory sign over at the Westport location, that's there. I think we'll look back on this fight and say that Westport party and our ability to test, treat, isolate, and trace was essential to helping Connecticut. And so I'm proud to be a part of it. Our team are lifesavers. They're out in the rain. They're out in the snow. They're doing it. They're doing it in our drive-thrus. They're doing it in our New Haven walkthroughs. They're doing it in our telemedicine visits. When my providers come to me and say that they're at max capacity, I need to find more people. If you want to do the right thing by our states as we move into Westchester County now, and so we'll talk about New York and Connecticut. If you want to do right by our states, join our team, the Murphy Medical Associates, all right, at coronatestct.com. All right, we need more bannermen. We need you to answer the call. If you're a private practice that is shut down, come join our team. Set up drive-thrus, set up walkthroughs. Come be part of our rapid response teams. We're here. This virus is not going away. We need to coexist with it. We need to test, treat, isolate, and trace. We're here for that. I want to thank David Israel over in Florida, New York. We had a great call today. We're going to include, Neil is bought. He's bought by a hospital system. When hospitals control doctors can't do what they think is right. They have to work within their system. I think hospital systems call it being a team player. The problem is people that need to get out in front of this, it's not about team player. It's not about teams at all. It's about what's right for the public. And we're here to do that at Murphy Medical Associates. So I want to thank everyone, but I want to put it on record. I think that Westport party, that was a big nidus for Connecticut. I think that was a big spread. We were able to cohort and grab a lot of those people. So we're very happy. We want to thank the state. I want to thank Congressman Himes. I want to thank Mayor Martin. I want to thank First Selectman Stevenson. I want to thank the team and Jen Iselson and Michael Handler over in New Canaan. I want to thank Mark Cooper with his vision in Westport. I want to thank Director Bond and Mayor Elliker in New Haven. I want to thank all the teams that have helped along the way. I also want to thank my team, right? When the story's told, I almost am going to get a tear talking about this. My people have worked harder than anyone. Sorry about that. LabCorp with a bunch of results. Our team is working harder. 100-hour work weeks. 100-hour work weeks. every single one of my members. They've sacrificed their lives. They've sacrificed their families. They've sacrificed their wealth to be part of this team at Murphy Medical Associates. I will never forget what all of these people have done for us. I will never forget what all of these people mean for us, for the state of Connecticut, now for the state of New York. It's been a long haul, guys. It's been a really long haul. And we haven't gotten the support. The National Guard hasn't come to us. We had to fight to get COVID testing equipment because it was routed to hospital systems. I only think about the impact we could have had if we would have had the support up front, if the property managers would have helped us. Every life lost, I put on me. Our team puts on us. Thanks, Linda. I appreciate it. This is a long game. We're in it for the long haul. This is our mission. We protect our own. Connecticut is our own. Westchester, you're our own. New York, you're our own. We're here for you. We're going to continue the 100-hour work weeks. We're going to continue to put in the effort. We hope that the states recognize what we've done. We hope the states recognizing what we can do. Test, treat, isolate, trace. Sorry, I got a little emotional, but we've been working really hard. And we're dedicated to flatten this curve and get back to some sort of normalcy and protect the states of New York and Connecticut from the adverse effects of coronavirus. This is Dr. Murphy with Murphy Medical Associates and coronatestct.com, telling you to love each other, be good to each other, and do your best. All right? It's the only way we're going to get through this is together. It's the only way we're going to get through this is together. This is Dr. Murphy telling you, hydrate, get your rest, exercise, consider vitamin D. Be good to each other. We're all in this together. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Mark my words, that Westport party seeded the back end of Connecticut. And I'm so glad that we caught them when we did. It could have been way worse. All right, I love you guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Good morning, everybody. I am here at Bedford Hills train station over here between Bedford and Katona, getting ready for our first Westchester novel coronavirus drive-thru. I'm pretty excited about it. It's created some heartache and stress. Trying to get things all set up the right way, but I know we're doing the right thing. So, Bedford Hills. We're going to test our citizens of both towns and the first responders. Looks like I got a tent to put up, so we'll work on that for registration. Overall, I want to talk for a couple of minutes. I'm going to sit here on the train tracks, right, and talk a little bit. I really want us, and I'm in a little reflective mode myself right now, but I really want us to think about where we've come from and where we're headed. I think the news of remdesivir is good news, but I still think we need to contact trace. I still think we need to test, and I still think we need to isolate. I talked yesterday about how I think the serendipitous nature with which Mark Cooper called me in Westport really helped to stem a lot of the tide in Fairfield County. I see other counties and other towns reaching out to me that way too, which is great, because we've been fighting this for some time. And we just have some technical know-how that help. But I want to talk about what's next. You know, we've had staggering death rates in nursing homes, assisted living facilities. We've had rampant spread on boats and in subways in New York City. When they said the subways were going to still run, I went facepalm. No. Close quarters with poor ventilation is not an okay situation. So how can we, as a society, operate with better ventilation in close quarters? I think that's one of the biggest questions we're going to have here, is how can we pull the virus out of the air or get it to drop to the ground and get sucked out, almost like negative pressure rooms. That's the way that we're going to have to really operate when we have buildings. It's just the way it is. Our building codes are going to have to change. This is going to require big-time Herculean efforts by governments and by businesses. I think we need to think about that. Every day I wake up and I say, what's next? And not as I wait for someone to report what's next in the news. I think through the needs that we're going to have in society. And I say, how can we help? How can we be part of that solution? And I think we all need to do that, because human ingenuity, human spirit is what's going to run the day. And so I want all of you to please think about that. Think about how you can be part of the solution, not part of the problem. You know, so much in medicine has been tribal, and as we have had the employment of doctors, even before employment, back when doctors were all solo practitioners or maybe a couple docs together, there was a tribal nature. In medical school, there's a tribal nature. In high school, there's a tribal nature. In middle school, there's a tribal nature. We have to fight that. We have to have a common spirit here. And I think part of that is just trying to figure out how you can be part of the solution, how you can help, how you can say what's next, and what can you do to fix what's next, right? To help figure out where the needs are going to be and to help solve them. You know, morning is here. The sun is coming up. It's time for everyone to engage that human animal instinct, that spirit, to overcome, to innovate, adapt, and tap your own ingenuity. I think if we can do that, America will be in a much better place. Not just Westchester County or Fairfield County or New Haven County or Hartford County or whatever state you're in. But I think America and humanity will be a better place if we can all just say, what can I do to help? What's next? What is society going to need? How can we deliver those needs? That's all. Simple ask. Put your thinking caps on, everyone. Murphy Medical Associates is answering the call. We're putting out the call to you. Answer the call. How can you be part of the solution? American ingenuity, not American fighting, not tribalism. Let's do this, okay? Let's come up with creative solutions to handle this pandemic and get society up and running again. All right. I love you guys. Have a good day. We're going to work here right off the old sawmill here. We're going to work in Bedford to test, treat, isolate, and trace. It's Dr. Murphy with Murphy Medical Associates and coronatestct.com. It's coronatestct.com. We'll see you guys later. Have a great day. It's going to be a beautiful one. Get some air and sun. All right. Take care. Bye. Good afternoon, everyone. What you're looking at is a map of the populations of Westchester and Fairfield County and the highways and byways at which the coronavirus can spread. Okay, that the coronavirus can spread. I am here. It's Dr. Murphy Medical Associates. I'm here in my lab. Right? I'm in my lab, making sure that everything is A-okay. We processed samples. We were in Stamford and Bedford today. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? I am here at 300 Tresser Boulevard, where we are running a walk-through testing center with help from the city of Stamford and the fire department. Okay, we are here because this is a hot spot. It's a hot zone where we are testing, treating, isolating, and tracing. We have the occupants of a building here who have a higher than average amount of positives, and so we're going to continue to test them and keep these buildings safe and keep the city safe. I want to talk a little bit about what we call our rapid response teams. And I think we're going to see more of these teams all throughout the United States. Think of these guys as your special forces teams. These are the teams that are going to show up in a hot zone. They're going to test buildings or areas where people have a higher positive rate than the general public. We're going to be able to treat those patients. We're going to be able to isolate those patients, and we're going to trace their contacts. Currently, I'm working with a team who's developing a fantastic tracing system up in Florida, New York, right? So we want to thank Dr. David Israel, who's working with us there. So we are here at 300 Tresser and the fire department to test, treat, isolate, and trace. So if you're in these buildings, you can come out and we can test you now here in the city of Stamford. We also have the town of Bedford and our Westchester site running. We have our Cummings Beach site running with our municipal workers. And we have our New Haven site running today. So we've got 4 sites running. In addition to that, we have our care pod located in Greenwich. And so we got a lot of stuff going on. And I wanted to thank everyone who's been following us this entire time, who's been watching and seeing how we're doing. So I want to thank everyone who's registered at coronatestct.com. We'll get you taken care of, whether it's through antibody testing, whether it's through nasopharyngeal swab testing, or whether it's telemedicine consults. We're here to help. And one of the things we're working on is a new website to make registration even easier for everyone. So, to recap, antibodies come in multiple flavors. The memory antibody called IgG, which is a longer-term antibody. The acute infection antibody called IgM. Now remember, those 2 antibodies, we can't diagnose that you're acutely infected based on your IgM level. We can't do it. We need to do a nasopharyngeal swab. So a nasal swab can diagnose an acute infection, especially if you have an IgM both together. We found that out in the South Korean studies. IgM plus swab have a much higher sensitivity, right, and a much higher specificity to identify whether you have an infection or not. We're working on all of these things. It's all brand new. We're essentially creating an entire condition and treatment program. All of us in medicine are. We're doing it on the fly. Think about it as if we've been thrown out of an airplane and we have to assemble the parachute while we're falling. That's what's going on. So we need all of you to give us patience and understanding as we work together to help you. That's the goal. At Murphy Medical Associates and with coronatestct.com, we're here for you. We're here in Westchester County. We're here in Fairfield County. And we're here in New Haven County. And I'm sure I'll get Linda asking, and soon we'll be in Hartford County. Okay? We're here for you at Murphy Medical Associates. We've got our hard-working team together. They're testing, treating, isolating, and tracing. All right? We're bringing new members on. We're bringing new team members on, and we're working very hard for you. So I want to let you know that we're thinking about you, and we'll do our best to take care of you. Okay? Have a great day. I hope you guys have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Well, that had to be the world's shortest Periscope, as I had my buddy, a urologist, calling me. He needed a little bit of help. So sorry about that. So I was saying, when I first started my drive-thrus, we were in 3 locations. We were in my Greenwich office, and the hair salon upstairs got so upset that we were testing people that they called the Department of Health. They also threatened the property manager. They also got the building supervisor to tell everyone that I was doing illegal things. We'll see when Warren Tricome comes back in if they treat me any better. Or they probably won't, because they're more interested in money than in public health. And so when we have our people and we're testing them, treating them, isolating and tracing, that they'll still have complaints. And that's okay. But I got to tell you, during the entire time, they totally broke the law and were running a covert hair salon in and out of the office. It was pretty funny. I told the property manager that they were letting their client do that, as they sent us another cease and desist. It's awesome. Anyway, so we had those issues in Greenwich. But what's really interesting is in Stratford, the property manager, Phil Avalon, told me that Yale New Haven Health, right? So it's important to remember that Yale New Haven Health is really Grace New Haven Hospital that licenses Yale University's name. So I like to call them Grace New Haven Health. And so Grace New Haven sent their lawyers to the property manager in my building. And they said the following: if this drive-through hurts the revenue or RVUs of our practices upstairs, we're going to sue you. And I went, we're talking, hey, Linda, welcome aboard. We're talking about public health, and Grace New Haven Health was going to sue me because I was doing public health that might interfere with their doctors seeing patients who could have coronavirus in their offices when they should have been seen through the drive-thru. I pointed that out. I didn't hear any much more from the Yale New Haven Health System. The Grace New Haven Health System. I didn't hear much about it. Yesterday, 2 nurses came to our Chapel Street location to bully our Medical Reserve Corps volunteers and our nurses that were on site doing swabbing of the underserved public, who we have noticed that the St. Rafe's team has been sending us the uninsured patients, which is great. They would come in and they'd say, we were sent here by St. Rafe's, right? Or Grace New Haven Health, right? We were sent here to be tested. So we thought we had a good collegial relationship where if they didn't want to take patients that were uninsured, Yale New Haven Health System didn't want uninsured patients, we would take them. And we did. And it was great. We were able to take care of the public that way. Well, these 2 nurses came over and started shouting at our team. They said, you can't test our patients. What? No, you can't test our patients. They're going for surgery, so you can't test them. Well, don't you want to test them before surgery to make sure they don't have coronavirus? Well, we can't take your test results. What? We're using LabCorp and Quest, right? You guys use Quest as your reference lab. Why can't you take those results? Well, we don't know what kind of swab you are using. Right? Is that emoji with your head blown off? What are you talking about? Right? We're all in this together. We're doing the right things together. We're all following the protocols. We all read what types of swabs are accepted: polyester swabs, Dacron swabs, flock tip swabs, and foam swabs. We know it. We're doing the same thing you are. This is not that complicated. When I do a lot of these periscopes, I post up behind my goals blackboard. These are for my kids to think of goals, right? Goals that they want to shoot for, right? Murphy Medical Associates goal and at Corona Test CT Our goal is to test, to treat, to isolate, and trace to get us out of this pandemic mess. That's our goal. We'll treat everyone, right? We'll test everyone. We'll trace everyone. We'll isolate those who need to be isolated to protect the public in Fairfield County, in New Haven County, and in Westchester County, New York. We're all in those places. We're all in this together. Well, guess what? So is Grace New Haven Health. I will, and if you have issues, right, we're going to test, right? And we do test asymptomatic people too that may have exposure and worried they're carriers. We will test them. So I think that these nurses came over to create some chaos, similar to the Grace New Haven, Yale New Haven lawyer calling my property manager. And so I'm going to put out now the simple request. If you have questions, come to me. Don't bully my team. Marna, if you're out there, pick up the phone. Give me a call. You can come in your purple jumpsuit and see me in my Tyvek suit caring for patients. We would love to chat. We can talk about it and we can go over strategy to work together as partners in our city, the city I was born in. Okay? I'm here for New Haven. I'm here for all the citizens of New Haven, and we're here to care for them. We're going to care for them at our 1319 Chapel Street site. We're also going to care for them with our rapid response teams that are going to go all over the city. We're going to go all over the city in hotspots and pop up testing centers to test, to treat, to isolate, and to trace. The city needs us. We're going to answer their call. Director Bond needs us. Mayor Elliker needs us. We're there for them. We are there for the city. They are there for you, okay? So I just want to tell you our goals at Murphy Medical Associates. Test, treat, isolate, and trace, regardless whether you have insurance or not. Regardless whether you're a citizen or not. Regardless whether you have documents or not. We are here for you, no matter what. Si se puede, y yo estoy contigo, juntos por siempre. We are together forever. A group working together for a common goal to get us out of this mess together. Test, treat, isolate, and trace. All right? I love you guys. I'm getting on this call so I can try and figure out how to semi-open up restaurants and gyms and hair salons and everything else again. Yes, Warren Tricomie, I went back at you, right? I'm going to find a way that you can run a clean, safe hair salon. All right? I'm here to help you. I'm here to help the community. We are here to help. This is Dr. Murphy with Murphy Medical Associates signing off. If you need us, you can go to coronatestct.com. That's coronatestct.com. Have a great night. Good morning. Good morning. I wanted to give everyone a couple of quiet moments before the day started with a look on the sound. These are the times that test men's souls. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, good morning. I want to talk today a little bit about a condition called Kawasaki's disease. It's not Kowalski's disease or Kawa's disease. It's called Kawasaki's disease. It's an inflammatory condition. It's an inflammatory vasculitis that causes inflammation of what we call coronary arteries, blood vessels in the body. These inflammatory conditions cause dilation of blood vessels. Like the doctors in New York City and And like the doctors in Europe, we are diagnosing children with this condition post-COVID, right? They get the infection, they get inflammation, and rather than getting lung disease, they're getting heart disease. So we have engaged a fantastic pediatric cardiology team that is helping us care for and monitor these patients. The goal is to reduce the inflammation. The problem is this disease is not quite like Kawasaki syndrome. Part of it is like toxic shock syndrome as well, which is a condition with inflammation and desquamation in the hands. Now, Kawasaki's can have a rash too, and we see them both that way. So it's really like a hybrid condition that we don't know exactly how to treat, but we're going to try and treat it similarly to those other conditions. I think there's a lot of confusion when it came to this disease and a lot of voodoo. Younger people aren't affected, that caused spread. Children don't get really sick, that caused spread. Okay? It's only the old people that are dying, that caused spread. The problem is, put simply, we can't make assumptions about this condition till we have it fully studied. And anyone who tries to diminish the risk of this condition puts the public at risk. I understand governments not wanting to scare citizens. I get it. But we should be a little scared about this, okay? We should be a little bit scared. That fear shouldn't cower us. We should rise to the occasion together. We should be quick-witted and brave. Quick-witted and brave as we rise to the occasion, okay? As more is found out about this pediatric complication of COVID-19, I'll have more information. Just know there are a handful, not a handful, but a decent amount of cases, and we're continuing to monitor this. So if your children have COVID, if they were tested positive, or if they're having signs or symptoms, you need to make sure you reach out to your pediatrician. If you can't get a hold of your pediatrician, we have Corona Care available for you as well. We will make sure you're plugged into a pediatrician and a pediatric cardiologist. All right? Now is not the time to mess around. Now is not the time to blow off symptoms. These are the times that test men's souls. And we need to be in this together. We need to work together. And we need not to have tribalism. Last night, I talked about a horrible, ugly side of tribalism from the Grace New Haven health system. That's not okay. We need to work together because we're all in this together. And that's the only way we're going to get through this is together. Okay? Hope you guys have a great day. We're here testing, treating, isolating, and tracing on the shores of Connecticut and in Westchester County, New York. We love you guys. We hope you have a great day. Remember, we're all in this together. Be brave and be quick-witted and take care of each other. This is Dr. Murphy with coronatestct.com. Thanks, Linda. Dr. Murphy with coronatestct.com and my medical practice, Murphy Medical Associates. We love you guys. Have a great day. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about that. I guess my Periscope got messed up. I wanted to let everyone know I was watching the governor's briefing. So I was watching the governor's press briefing today, press conference. In it, he highlighted how we get to open Connecticut up again. Some of the things that we need to do include improved contact tracing, increased testing, and in fact, the governor is going to release an executive order saying, you just show up at our walk-in center at 1319 Chapel. You can show up at 1000 Main Street at our office, at our location over there in Stratford. You can show up at our locations in Stamford. You can show up at our locations in Darien, and we'll be back again in New Canaan soon. So we're expanding our testing offerings. We're going to be expanding our testing in Bridgeport. We're going to be expanding our testing in other towns too. because we need people to have access to testing. So that's very, very, very important. In addition to that, we have started our own, we've jump-started our own coronavirus testing in our own lab. So it's important that the capacity is there. It's important that we get capacity. So we're working to increase testing capacity, right? In fact, I think there was a recent article that NBCCT put up there where New Haven Health System is trying to increase their testing capacity 200-fold. And I laud them for that. I think that we need more testing. There's no doubt about it, right? We're probably one of the top 3 testing centers in the state. And so we're very dedicated to test, right? To test the patients. And so we do that at our drive-through centers and our walk-through centers and our public-private collaborations with the major cities of Connecticut and the towns of Connecticut. So we're really happy for that. The governor nailed that. We had to increase testing. In addition, we need to protect vulnerable populations. And one of the things I can't emphasize enough, our testing center at 1319 Chapel Street really helps those populations. You know, the local hospital in the area had been sending us their uninsured patients. So these are precisely the vulnerable people that need to be tested. So we're happy to take the uninsured. We're happy to take those who don't have doctors. We're happy to take those whose doctors won't test them. We're happy to take whoever, because we're here to protect the vulnerable people of the city of New Haven, the city of Stamford, the city of Bridgeport, and the towns that surround them: Darien, New Canaan, Wilton, Westport, Weston. I could go on, but I'm not going to, because what you need to know is we're here for Connecticut. We're here for the vulnerable patients. Luckily today I didn't have a lot of time on the line working at one of our centers. So again, I was able to think a little bit here. And one of the things we're putting together is a top-notch contact tracing team, right? We're working with David Israel in New York, and we're working with a couple of excellent social workers and some people with deep knowledge and experience from the Ebola outbreaks. And so we're really happy to build a contact tracing team to help the departments of public health. In addition, the city of New Haven is building on their contact tracing capacities too. As I meet with Mr. Spain, we exchange some emails. That's the key. So key number 2, improve contact tracing, right? The hospitals already are getting less hospitalizations, and that's important, right? They need to be able to focus on their hospitalized patients, getting their COVID patients better. The numbers are down in New Haven. They still have, I think, 360 or 370 patients in the hospital that are COVID positive. So hopefully they'll continue to bring those numbers down. So as the hospitalizations go down, we improve testing capacity wherever we go, right? That's our job at coronatestct.com. We also, we are going to protect those who need it the most, right? We protect our own. We're totally going to help all of the people in all of these cities and all of these towns, the underinsured, the uninsured, and the vulnerable amongst us, because that's a big mission of mine, is to help those who need it most. In addition to all of that, we're going into nursing homes, right? We're going into housing areas that have high population density and high outbreaks. With our rapid response teams, we're going to deploy all over the state. First, we're going to be in New Haven and Fairfield County, and we'll expand to other counties with these teams. We'll show up, pop-up site, day of. We'll make a couple days announcement ahead of time to let you know where our pop-up sites are. But I want to get at minimum, 30 rapid response teams. Right? We'll also have them in New York. That'll be my commitment, Governor Cuomo, Governor Lamont. We're on it, right? You already got a Murphy in New Jersey, but if you want me, I'll come there too. All right? So, protect those who need it most. Increase access to testing, right? That doesn't happen when you send nurses to bully our team. So you know who you are. Don't do that again. I will call you out every time. In addition, improve contact tracing. We're here to do that. Test, treat, isolate, and trace. We've hired more people. We're ready to go. We've reloaded the gun of this war. It is time to to fight this virus, not just flatten the curve, but let's eradicate the threat. Okay? We're in this together. We're all in this together. Hospitals that are engaging in tribalism, stop. Practices that are engaging in tribalism, stop it. We're all in this together. Pull together, reach out to each other, and let's find a way to work together. We don't need risk managers complaining about emails or crazy things between doctors. We need to do what's right. We need not to muzzle our nurses. This is Nurses Week, right? There's an article I read that the nurse said that she was more worried about her hospital executives than she was by the coronavirus. What does that tell you? We need to honor our nurses. If they need PPE, if they need support, you don't muzzle them, okay? You don't tell your doctors and nurses to zip a lip. All right, that's not okay. Whether you're in a boardroom in a purple jumpsuit or whether you are in the field, you don't zip a lip. The reason why plane crashes are so infrequent is because there is open reporting at the FAA. There's a culture of open reporting. That's how we reduce mortality. You figure hospitals would learn something from the FAA. No more muzzle. No more silence agreements. And don't you dare fire doctors and nurses for speaking out. Those frontline workers are putting their lives at risk. They're putting their fortunes at risk to help care for citizens in the state. No more gag clauses. End of story. If your people are speaking out, it's because you haven't addressed the problem. If your people are speaking out, it's because they're afraid of retribution from the executive suite, from the boardroom suits. Stop it. Stop wearing suits. Get in the scrubs. Get in the trenches. End of story. That's my call to all hospital executives and large group executives everywhere. Get in the trenches, man the line, start testing, start treating, start isolating, and start tracing. That's what the governor wants. That's what we're going to do at Murphy Medical Associates, at our practices in North Stamford Medical Associates, at our practices in Greenwich, and our practices in Stratford, and our drive-through testing centers all over Connecticut and New York. We're here for you. We're here for the states. It's time to move past flattening the curve. It's time to eradicate the threat. This is Dr. Murphy, Murphy Medical Associates, and coronatestct.com, signing off, telling you guys I love you, getting bit by bugs out here. All right? That's how you know. That's how you know. Dr. Murphy signing off. Take care. Spring is here. Summer's coming, despite the big snowstorm that's supposed to come tomorrow. Be good to each other and take care of each other. All right. Love you. Bye.
A nurse says he was fired for expressing concerns early on about restrictions on the use of protective gear at Hackley Hospital. It's a story we first told you about 1 month ago as COVID-19 was first being detected in Muskegon County. Here's 13 on your side Lakeshore reporter John Mills with what the nurse is saying today and the response from Mercy Health.
Justin Howe was union representative for nurses here at Hackley Hospital last month as Muskegon County was confirming its third positive COVID-19 case. Howe complained that hospital staff were preventing nurses from using donated N95 masks.
Howe also told 13 on your side in March that Mercy Health needed to more liberally distribute personal protective gear to Hackley nurses. Howe says he went public with his complaint because COVID-19 was spreading quickly.
We saw it moving from the east side of the state.
And Howe believes, as union president for Hackley nurses, he was the person responsible for making the concerns public. But Howe says days after the interview, he was fired and accused by hospital leaders of violating a federal law that protects medical records.
There are false allegations.
We are absolutely protected to speak out to the public.
Jamie Brown is the president of the Michigan Nurses Association. Brown says Howe is now on a growing list of hospital staff around the country punished for speaking critically about conditions inside hospitals.
People are getting fired for speaking out and raising the red flag.
Brown says the Michigan Nurses Association filed an an unfair labor practice complaint with the National Labor Relations Board, and the union is asking for Howe to be reinstated.
All we're doing is trying to protect ourselves so we can take care of our patients and our community without getting sick.
Mercy Health sent 13 on Your Side the following statement. It reads, "This matter is being managed pursuant to the contractual dispute resolution process, and we are confident that the termination will be upheld."
And Howe tells me shortly after he made the complaints last month, hospital administrators did begin distributing surgical masks to workers here at Hackley Hospital. In Muskegon, John Mills, 13 on Your Side.